Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Na'tu ta'allum wa ta'lim wa tadhakkur wa tadhkir wa nafa' wal intifa' wal ifadah wal istifadah wal hath 'ala at-tamassuk bi kitabillah wa sunnati rasulih wa du'a 'ala al-huda dalalan al khair. ابتغاء وجه الله مرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله. We'll continue today with our lessons in the book Arabic Tutor. We're on page 77. Okay? Arabic Tutor Volume 1, page 77, Lesson 7. مركب إضافي. Okay. So before this, we were learning about murakkab tawsifi. Okay. So you have to remember a few things about murakkab tawsifi. The first thing being that the first part, okay, you have a murakkab. The first part is called the mawsuf. Remember? And the second part is called the sifa. That's murakkab tawsifi. And then they must be the same in 4 things. Okay? So the mawsuf and the sifa must be the same in i'rab. They must be the same in what else? Ma'rifah, nakirah. They must be the same in gender. And they must be the same in number. Remember?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. So today we will be learning about murakkab idafi. Murakkab idafi. The first part is called the mudaf. And the second part is called the mudafun ilayh. Okay. So let's look at some examples first. Okay. So for example, you say Kitabu Zaidin. Kitabu Zaidin. Kitab is the first part, is called the mudaf, and Zaid is the second part, is called the mudafun ilayh. Okay. Kitabu Zaidin, khatamu fiddatin, ma'un nahri. Okay. All of these are called murakkab idafi. Okay. And the translation for this, okay, in English, we'll say, for example, Kitabu Zaidin, Kitab, the book, and then you have to put an extra word in the middle, the book of Zaid, like that. Okay, Kitabu Zaidin will be the book of Zaid. Khatamu fiddatin, the ring. Khatam is ring, the ring of silver. The ring of silver. Ma'un nahri, the water of the river. The water of the river. You see that? Okay. Okay. So when you translate it into English, you say the first word, and then you put of, and then you say the second word. But that's how you translate it into English. Okay. Kitabu Zaidin. The first word is kitab, the book, right? Then you say of, the book of Zaid, like that. Okay. Or another way of saying it is, okay, you say the mudafun ilayh first. So Zaid, for example, Zaid Okay, and you have the apostrophe S. Zaid's book. Like that. Zaid's book. Okay, so the book of Zaid, or you can translate as Zaid's book. There are other ways of translating it as well, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, in Malay, when you translate into Malay, there is no particular word like of in the middle. Okay, for example, Kitab Zaid, we translate as Kitab Zaid. Sama, Kitab Zaid. Kan? Khatamu Fiddatin, we translate as cincin perak. Ma'un Nahri, air sungai. There is no particular word of in the middle. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, so it's very easy to translate into Malay, but I want you to understand the English translation. Why? Because we want to differentiate. Kita nak bezakan between murakkab idafi and murakkab tawsifi. Because in murakkab tawsifi also, when you translate into Malay, we say, for example, rajulun. Okay, you want to write something there? Okay. Rajulun, for example, you say Rajulun Hasan. Rajulun Hasanun. In Malay, we say lelaki baik. Lelaki baik. So there's no Ryan. What are you writing there? I can see it.
Tak faham.
Okay. Okay, later you can play, okay?
Okay.
Now, it's lesson, okay? Understand? Kita nak bezakan. Nak bezakan antara murakkab idafi dengan murakkab tausifi. Nak bagi faham. Yeah? Because in murakkab tausifi, we translate as, for example, Rajulun Hasan, lelaki baik. There is no word in the middle to differentiate. Like here, murakkab idafi, we said Kitab Zaid. Apa yang nak bezakan? What's the difference between murakkab idafi and murakkab isyari, murakkab tausifi when you translate into Malay? That's in English, but in Malay there is no particular word to differentiate, right? So that's why I want you to take note of the English translation so that you understand what is murakkab idafi. Okay? So this is called the idafa. Idafa. Yeah, idafa. Okay, so you mentioned already, the first part is called the mudaf and the second part is called mudaf ilayh. Idafa, maybe you can translate as, in Malay you can translate as sandaran.
Benar.
Understand? Sandaran. For example, we say Kitab Zaid, we can say kitab disandarkan ke Zaid. Kitab itu disandarkan ke Zaid. Maksudnya kitab itu jadi milik Zaid lah. Kitab milik Zaid disandarkan ke Zaid. Understand? Idafah. Okay, in English we say possessive, possession, nampak? Possession maksudnya milik lah, milik atau kepunyaan. But in Malay, maybe we can say sandaran,
Benar.
disandarkan. Alright. So you must always remember for a murakkab idafi that the mudaf, okay, only a few things that you have to remember. Listen. First thing is that the mudaf cannot have al, cannot have alif lam in front of the mudaf. For example, Kitab Zaid, you cannot say Al Kitab Zaid. That is wrong. That is not called a murakkab idafi. Murakkab idafi, okay, you cannot have al in front of the mudaf, in front of the first part. So you cannot say Al Kitab Zaid, will be wrong. Al Khatam Fiddah will be wrong. Al Ma An Nahar will be wrong. Okay, understand? So for murakkab idafi, the first part, the mudaf, cannot have al, alif lam. Secondly, the mudaf cannot have a tanween. The mudaf, the first part, cannot have a tanween as well. So you cannot say kitabun zaidin, will be wrong. You cannot say khatamun fiddatin, will be wrong. You cannot say ma'un tanween and then an-nahar, will be wrong also. You understand? So the first thing that you can say the first qa'idah, the first rule that you must remember about murakkab idafi is that the mudaf cannot have al, cannot have a tanween. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. And then the second part that you must remember, only two things, really. Only two things. The second part is that the mudaf ilaih, the second part, must always be majrur. What does majrur mean? With the kasrah. With the kasrah. Baris bawah majrur. Baris bawah. Okay, mudaf ilaih. The mudaf ilaih must always be majrur. Itu baris bawah, nampak? Look here. Kitabu Zaidin. Baris bawah. Khatamu fiddatin. Baris bawah. Okay. Ma'un nahri. Baris bawah. See? Kasrah. You understand? Cawan. Biasa. Okay? Only those two things to remember. Easy?
Yes.
Okay. And then it says what? The mudaf always precedes the mudaf ilaih. Okay? That's obvious. Okay? The first part is always called the mudaf. Okay? And the mudaf must always be why is he saying the mudaf must always be in the beginning and the mudaf ilaih must always be in you understand? Or we can say in another way, you can say in Malay, yang disandarkan mestilah ada kat depan. Dan disandarkan padanya mestilah selepasnya. Faham ya? Mudaf mesti kat depan. The mudaf must always be in the first part. The second part will be the mudaf ilaih. Okay? Yang disandarkan. Okay? For example, when we say Kitab Zaid, Kitabu Zaidin, we cannot say, if you say Zaid Kitab, it won't make sense. Okay? Kalau kita sebut Zaid Kitab, tak faham. Orang tak faham. Faham tak? Dia mesti sebut Kitab Zaid. Kitabu Zaidin, tak boleh sebut Zaidu Kitabin, tak boleh. Kalau sebut Zaidu Kitabin, Zaid Kitab, apa Zaid Kitab? Orang tak faham. Bahasa Melayu pun tak betul kan? Kena sebut Kitab Zaid, baru faham, baru betul ya. Jadi yang disandarkan tu the mudaf must always be in the beginning, and the mudhaf ilaih yang disandarkan kepadanya mestilah in the second part, right? Okay, and another thing to note is that murakkab idafi, just like the murakkab tawsifi, is not a complete sentence. Remember? Murakkab tawsifi is macam ayat tergantung kan. Kalau kita sebut murakkab tawsifi, rajulun hasan, lelaki baik itu, ar-rajulul hasanlah, lelaki baik itu. Apa ayat tergantung kan? Samalah, same thing here, murakkab idafi also. It's not a complete sentence, macam ayat tergantung. Okay? Jadi kalau kita sebut buku Zaid, ayat tergantung. Buku Zaid, ayat tergantung. Faham? Okay, so it must instead be part of a sentence. You must say, for example, ma'un nahri. Okay, air sungai. Apa ayat tergantung kan? So, ma'un nahri azbun. Then that will make sense. The water of the river is sweet. Air sungai itu manis. Itu baru ayat sempurna. Okay. So in this sentence, ma'un nahri will be the subject. Yes? Go on. I can't really hear you. Kuatkan suara, kuatkan. Dekat sikit mikrofon. Tak dengar. Silakan, tak dengar. Cakap balik. Apa soalannya? Atau tulislah soalan kalau apa soalan tadi tak jelas. Kuatkan suara. Apa dia? Cakap balik. Muka idafi tu? Muka idafi tu apa? Yeah, betul. That's what we're saying. Okay, murakkab idafi, just like murakkab tawsifi, is an incomplete sentence. Ayat tergantung. Ayat tergantung. Okay, so for example there, ma'un nahri, air sungai itu. Kan ayat tergantung. Air sungai itu.
Enter radio in playing. Enter aux in playing. Enter to Bluetooth. Bluetooth connected.
Okay. So ma'un nahri azbun, the water of the river is sweet. Okay. The water of the river will be the subject. Okay. And sweet is the predicate. Okay. Let's look at another example here. Oh no, now it's saying you can have, just like actually in murakkab tawsifi, you can have many sifah. Okay. Many adjectives for one mausuf. For example, you can say rajulun hasanun karimun. A good, noble man. Rajulun hasanun karimun. It's not a problem. You can have many sifah for one mausuf. Same here, mudaf ilaih, you can have a mudaf connected to a mudaf ilaih, and then that mudaf ilaih is connected to another mudaf ilaih. So for example here, babu baitil amiri, the door of the house of the Amir or the leader. You understand? Another example. Babu baiti ibni al-waziri. Babu, the door of the house of the son of the minister. Like that. Or you can put it in another way. You can say the door of the house of the minister's son. That's not a problem. So you can say like that. Okay.
Baik, Ustaz.
So yeah.
Baik.
Okay. So in this case, the mudaf ilay is the mudaf for the next, for the words after it. Okay. So for example, babu is mudaf, right?
Ya.
Babu is mudaf, and then baiti is mudaf ilay. But baiti is also mudaf, so becomes mudaf to the next word after that, al-amiri. Same thing here. Babu is mudaf. Baiti is mudaf ilay, but it's also the mudaf for ibni, and ibni is mudaf ilay, but ibni is also the mudaf for next word, which is al-waziri, like that. Okay. And because we say, because these words in the middle, they are also mudaf, and that means those words cannot have alif lam and cannot have tanween. Remember we said in the beginning that mudaf ilayh, firstly the mudaf cannot have al, cannot have tanween, right? So look, baiti, there's no al and there's no tanween. Okay, babu baiti, and they must be mudaf ilayh. Kan, babu baiti, baiti is mudaf ilayh, so they must be majrur. Okay, babu baiti, majrur, yeah. And at the same time it's mudaf, so cannot have al, cannot have tanween. So you cannot say babul baitil amiri, that would be wrong, right? Or babu baitin al amiri will be wrong as well. Okay, because we said the mudaf, okay, cannot have alif lam, cannot have tanween, whether it's in the beginning or it's in the middle, it's the same. Okay, and then if you remember, in the very beginning, when we talk about ma'rifah, remember we said about ma'rifah that if you make a mudaf to a ma'rifah, then the mudaf is also ma'rifah. Remember that? We mentioned that there are seven types of ma'rifah, and the last part is the mudaf to any ma'rifah. Mudaf to any ma'rifah. So here, for example, Ghulamu Zaidin. Look at Zaid. Zaid, is it ma'rifah or nakira? Zaid. Zaid. Ma'rifah or nakira? Zaid is ma'rifah. Ismul alam. Proper noun. Kata nama khas. Zaid, right? Okay, Zaid is ma'rifah. So when we say ghulamu Zaidin, ghulam also becomes ma'rifah. So that's why when we translate, we say the slave of Zaid. We don't say a slave of Zaid, we say the. Because Zaid is ma'rifah, so the mudaf will also become ma'rifah. You see that? Zaid is ma'rifah here. The Zaid is ma'rifah. So the mudaf ghulam will also become ma'rifah. So that's why when we translate, you say the slave of Zaid. The, see, the slave of Zaid. Same thing here. Ar-rajul, look. Ar-rajul, is it ma'rifah or nakirah? Ar-rajul. Huh? Ar-rajul. Ar-rajul. Ma'rifah or nakirah? Ma'rifah. Why is it ma'rifah? Ar-rajul. Mu'arraf bil lam. That's alif lam there. Ar-rajul. See? So, when translate, it becomes the man. Ma'rifah. The man is ma'rifah. Okay? So, when you say ghulamur rajuli, ghulam also becomes ma'rifah. You say the slave of the man. Okay? The slave of the man. Okay? The man is ma'rifah. So the mudaf ghulam also becomes ma'rifah. You say the slave of the man. Okay? So in both cases here, ghulam becomes definite, becomes ma'rifah as well. You understand?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Good. If you have any questions, let me know, alright? Where's Ryan? Taking a break. Ryan is watching cartoons probably, eh? Never mind, never mind. Okay. Number 10. Number 10 there, it says in Arabic, because the mudaf precedes the mudaf ilayh and no word can interpose between them, the adjective of the mudaf has to succeed the mudaf ilayh. Okay?
Okay.
What is saying, okay, the mudaf and the mudaf ilayh, they must follow each other. Okay? The mudaf ilayh must be immediately betul-betul sebelah mudaf tu. Okay? Dia lepas mudaf, mesti mudaf ilayh. Tak boleh ada benda kat tengah. Faham eh?
Okay.
Okay? So if you have, for example, mudaf with the sifah, you want to describe the mudaf. There's a sifah of the mudaf. You cannot say, for example, you cannot say ghulamus salih al-mar'ati. You cannot say that. Why? Because you must have the mudaf ilayh immediately next to the mudaf. Okay, so for example here, ghulam is the mudaf. Al-mar'ati is the mudaf ilayh, right? Mudaf ilayh, like that. So you want to describe a ghulam now. You cannot have a salih in the middle. You cannot say ghulamus salihu al-mar'ati. No. You understand? Okay. Yeah, ghulam. Let's translate that first. Yeah, ghulamul mar'ati. What's that? The slave
The slave
Ghulam, the slave of
Lady.
of of the lady. Ghulamul mar'ati, the slave of the lady. Okay. And we want to talk about the slave now being pious, as-salih. Okay. So we say Ghulamul mar'ati as-salihu. So as-salih goes back to ghulam. As-salih is describing the ghulam. You see? Nak ulang dari nombor 1? Apa tu? Rashad?
I do not understand.
Nak ulang balik ke?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start again from the beginning. Okay. Oops. Okay. From the beginning
Yeah.
of this chapter, lesson 7, page 77. Yeah? Arabic Tutor, volume 1, page 77, lesson 7. مركب إضافي. مركب إضافي. Yeah, the genitive of possession مركب إضافي. Okay. مركب إضافي. Let's look at some examples first. For example, we say كتاب زيد. كتاب زيد. خاتم فضة. ماء نهر. You see? In, yeah. So in Malay we can say kitab Zaid, cincin perak, air sungai. Or if you want to have a word in the middle, you can say maybe kitab milik Zaid. Or we use the Kelantan dialect. Kecek Kelantan, kecek Kelantan kita sebut apa? Cincin hak apa? Cincin hak perak tu, gitu. You see? Air sungai itu, understand? Air milik sungai itu, like that. So in English, you must have of in the middle. Okay? In Malay, you can say without the milik. You can say kitab Zaid or you can say kitab milik Zaid. Nak sebut kitab milik Zaid boleh, atau nak sebut kitab Zaid je pun dah betul dah. Tapi kalau bahasa Inggeris, in English you must have of in the middle, okay? So for example, kitab, what's the translation of kitab? Book. Translation of Zaid, Zaid lah. Okay, so you say the book of Zaid. The book of Zaid. Okay. What's khatam now? Yeah. Khatam is ring. Khatam means ring, cincin. Fiddah means perak, silver, right? So they translate as the ring of silver, right? Ma'un nahri. Ma'un nahri. What's ma'? Water.
Water.
Anar means river, the river. So you say the water the river, like that. Okay, either you translate like that, or another way of translating it is, for example, here Kitabu Zaidin, look, we mention the mudaf ilaih first, Zaid. Kitabu Zaidin, you translate as Zaid's book. Okay, don't fight, don't fight. I can see you fighting there. Don't fight. Okay? Alright, okay. You understand? So another way of translating it is Zaid's book. Zaid's book. So you say Zaid first and then you put apostrophe S there in the middle. Zaid's book, like that. Okay, you can translate as the book of Zaid or Zaid's book. That's in English. But in Arabic, it must always be Kitab Zaidin. You cannot say Zaidu Kitabin, won't make sense. If you say Zaidu Kitabin, will be wrong. You must say Kitab Zaidin. In Malay also. Kan? Bahasa Melayu pun kita sebut Kitab Zaid. Tak boleh sebut Zaid Kitab. Zaid Kitab tak betul. Tak faham. Orang tak faham. Kena sebut Kitab Zaid. Kena sebut kitabnya dulu baru kita sebut pemiliknya. Dan okay. So this process or this relationship is called idafah ataupun sandaran. Okay. Kita sandarkan, misalnya kita sandarkan kitab ke Zaid. Okay. Idafah, sandaran, ya. So the first part, kitab, is called the mudaf. The second part is called mudaf ilaih, or in Malay you can say mudaf yang disandarkan, and mudaf ilaih is the disandarkan kepadanya. Mudaf ilaih disandarkan kepadanya. Okay. Misalnya kitab, yang disandarkan apa? Kitab. Yang disandarkan kepadanya apa? Kepada Zaid. Boleh faham?
Ya.
Okay, kalau tak faham bagi tahu ya. Okay. So we said the first part, the mudaf. Okay, there are only two things that you have to remember for mudaf ilaih. Two things. The first part, mudaf, the first part, the mudaf, can never have alif lam and it can never have tanween. Okay, so for example, Kitabu Zaidin, you cannot say Al Kitabu Zaidin. And you cannot say with tanween as well. You cannot say Kitabun Zaidin. May be wrong. You must, the mudaf must always be without the alif lam and without tanween. Understand? And the second part, the mudaf ilayh is always majrur. What does majrur mean? Kasrah. Kasrah. Tanda bawah, baris bawah. For example, Kitabu Zaidin. Zaidin. That's majrur. Khatamu fiddatin. Ma'un nahri. You see, all of them, the second part, the mudaf ilayh, is always majrur. Only two things, those two things only that you have to remember.
Kat sini kena tak kasrah. Tapi
Say again.
dia berakhir. Berakhir ketika. Okay.
Ada soalan ke? Ada soalan? Ulang balik. Kalau tak ada soalan, tutup mikrofon lah. Kalau tak ada soalan, tutup mikrofon.
Ustaz, saya nak
Ha? Ya, silakan. Tak dengar lah, Ryan. Boleh type tak? Tak dengar. Dengar tak? Tak dengar lah. Ya, Ustaz, dan Ustaz dengar. Apa? Ya, ulang balik.
Kenapa kena letak kasrah dekat akhir ayat?
Kenapa kena letak?
Kasrah dekat akhir ayat.
Kenapa kena letak apa kat akhir ayat? Ayat? Ni. Tanda kasrah. Ini dia punya, okey. Jadi ini dia punya kaedah dia. Okey, terima kasih saya dapat. Dah dengar dah. Soalannya, kenapa kena letak kasrah? Kat mudhaf ilaih tu kenapa kena letak kasrah? Ya. Jadi jawapannya sekarang ini dia punya kaedah lah. Kaedah. Macam sebelum ni kita sebut tentang murakkab tausifi. Murakkab tausifi dia kena sama dalam 4 benda. Sama dalam i'rabnya, kena sama dalam makrifah nakirahnya alif lam tu. Sama dalam gender, sama dalam must be the same in gender and in the number. Ingat? Okey. Ini dia punya ni lah, dia punya kaedahnya. Orang nak tanya kan, kenapa macam ni, kenapa kena sama dalam 4 benda? Kenapa tak sama dalam 3 benda? Kenapa tak sama dalam 2 benda? ini dia punya ni lah, kaedahnya macam tu. Kan? Orang Arab letakkan dia punya kaedah, dia punya hukumnya macam itu. Dia punya kan. Ini namanya Nahu. Nahu ni nak belajar tentang ni lah, hukum-hukum ni. Kalau fiqh nak belajar hukum syarak. Kalau Nahu nak belajar hukum bahasa. Faham tak? Jadi hukum bahasa, yang ini kena baris bawah, yang ni kena baris atas, yang ni kena baris depan. Itulah i'rab. Faham? Can you understand? Okay. So, the Arabs say, okay, yeah, the Arabs made the language such that the mudhaf ilaih must always be majrur. So, that's the case. We must remember lah. Kena hafal je punya kaedahnya. Just remember the rule. So, you know, okay, if this is the case, then you know, this is mudhaf ilaih, or this mudhaf ilaih is incorrect, for example, because it doesn't have a majrur. It doesn't have a kasrah. Okay. InsyaAllah. And then, number 6. We're looking at number 6 now. The mudhaf always precedes the mudhaf ilaih. Maksudnya apa? Mudhaf itu mestilah sebelum mudhaf ilaih. Macam bahasa Melayu juga, kita tak boleh sebut Zaid kitab, tak faham kan? Kena sebut kitab Zaid. Kena sebut kitab dulu baru sebut Zaid. Kalau sebut Zaid kitab, orang tak faham. Zaid kitab, apa Zaid kitab? Kena sebut kitab Zaid. Baru faham. Kitab Zaid, maksudnya kitab milik Zaid. Bukan Zaid kitab. Kalau sebut Zaid kitab, bukan bermakna apa kitab milik Zaid dah. Orang tak faham langsung. Faham? Okay, and then we mentioned that just like murakkab tausifi, murakkab idafi is also an incomplete sentence. Ayat tergantung. Dia jadi ayat tergantung. Okay. Kalau kita sebut kitab Zaid, apa ayat tergantung? Kitab Zaid apa? Apa ceritanya? Apa cerita kitab Zaid? Kitab Zaid. Air sungai itu. Apa cerita tak ada cerita? Ayat tergantung. Faham? Incomplete sentence. Okay. So the murakkab idafi is also an incomplete sentence. Ayat tergantung juga. Okay. So you can make it part of a full sentence. Like for example, you can say ma'un nahri being the subject and azbun sweet, manis, being the predicate. For example, we say ma'un nahri azbun. Ma'un nahri azbun. Ma'un nahri, air sungai itu. Air sungai itu, the water of the river. The water of the river. Okay. And the predicate is azbun. Manis. The water of the river is sweet. The water of the river is sweet. Okay. The water of the river. Ma'un nahri here will be the subject. And the predicate is azbun. The predicate is azbun. Manis. Understand? Hmm. Okay, next. Sometimes there are several mudaf ilayh in one construction, okay? Okay. So you can have, for example, not only you can say babul baiti. Try translate that first. If you say babul baiti, the door
The doors
kan,
of
of the house. If you say babu al baiti, the door of the house. Okay, the door of the house. Understand? So you can have many mudaf ilayh in there. So you can have the door of the house of the leader, for example. Yeah. If you look at Baitul Amir, for example, Baitul Amir, translate that the house, Bait, the house of the leader.
leader.
You understand? So you can put many idafah in one murakkab. Okay? Just like murakkab tawsifi also can have many sifah for one mausuf. For example, you can say rajulun hasanun karimun. A good, a noble good man, a good noble man. See, you can have many sifah for one mausuf. Same thing here. Okay, you can have one mudaf being connected to a mudaf ilayh, and that mudaf ilayh is also a mudaf to the next mudaf ilayh, like that. Another example here. Okay, so another example, babu baiti ibni al-waziri. Okay, babu baiti first. Look at that, babu baiti. Try translate that first. Babu baiti, the door of the house. Okay, good, very good. Translate this bit now. Baiti ibni. Baiti ibni. The house of
the minister.
the son. The son. Good. Okay. Try that bit. Ibn al-Waziri. The son.
Is
You see? Of the minister.
of the minister.
Ah.
Mm.
Okay. Then you can put that together. If you put that together now, it becomes the door
Of
of the house
of
of the son of the minister.
of the study. Uh, pintu rumah, anak itu tak sudah tu. Tak ya,
Ah, kat nombor mana?
okey. Baru dan
Kat nombor lain. Ha. Atau bagi sini nombornya. Okay, you understand? Ada yang tak faham? Ada yang tak faham lagi ke?
Ustaz, tak tengah-tengah.
Teruskan. Teruskan. Okay, you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So the next bit, okay, we saying that babu, for example, babu baitil amiri. Bab is the mudaf.
Sudah.
Alright, and bait is the mudaf ilayh. Mudaf ilayh. You see, mudaf ilayh. This mudaf ilayh is also mudaf to the next bit, al-amir. And al-amir is mudaf ilayh. You understand? Mudaf ilayh, which is also mudaf, and this is mudaf ilayh. Okay? So, we said that if it's mudaf, remember the two rules, the mudaf cannot have alif lam and cannot have tanween. Remember? And the mudaf ilayh must always be majrur with a kasrah. Okay? So we said here babu baiti. Baiti is mudaf ilayh, which is also a mudaf. So baiti here cannot have alif lam. Okay, you don't say. You cannot say, for example, babul baiti. You cannot say babul baiti. You say babu baiti al amiri. See? Okay. So if this is a mudaf also, you cannot have the alif lam and the tanween as well. Okay, so. Okay. All right. And we mentioned in the first chapter, we mentioned that the ma'rifah, there are 7 types of ma'rifah. Remember? 7 types of ma'rifah.
Yes.
The 7th type being a mudaf to any of the above. Okay. Remind me, what are the types of ma'rifah? Try remind me first. You got what? Ismul alam, ismul isyara, ismul mausul, ism mu'arraf bil lam. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. 7 types. Ismul domir, yeah. So if you have a mudaf to any of the above, then that mudaf is also ma'rifah. So for example, ghulamu zaidin. You see, ghulamu zaidin. Zaid. Is Zaid ma'rifah or nakirah Zaid? You see? Zaid, for example, is Zaid ma'rifah or nakirah?
Ma'rifah.
Zaid is ma'rifah. Which type of ma'rifah is it?
Ismail.
Ismul alam. Very good.
Apa
Ismul
ma'rifah?
alam. Or in English we say proper noun. Or we say what? In Malay, kata nama khas. Right? Okay. So because the mudhaf ilayh here is ma'rifah, so ghulam will also become ma'rifah. Okay. So you say the slave. You see that? The slave. There. The slave of Zaid. You don't say a. You don't say a slave of Zaid. If you say a, it's nakirah, right? You must say the. Where even though there's no al. Can you see alif lam there at the ghulam? No. There's no al next to ghulam. But okay, there's no al next to ghulam. But it becomes ma'rifah. Why? Because Zaid is ma'rifah. Understood? Faham tak?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Good. Same thing with the next bit. Ar-rajul. Ar-rajul. Ma'rifah nakirah. Ar-rajul.
Ma'rifah.
Ma'rifah. How is it ma'rifah?
Because Mulamu is ma'rifah.
Because of the alif lam.
Oh, jadi kalau kita dia tak rasa, tapi tak rasa ni, yang rasa sebab tu tak ma'rifah.
Yeah, look.
Dia bukan rasa ni, kalau ma'rifah
Ah. Because of the alif lam. Ar-rajul, alif lam. Mu'arraf bil lam. Remember that?
Kalau ada Islam,
The man. The man. Okay. So when we say ar-rajul is ma'rifah. Oh, 1 second. Okay. So ghulamur rajuli. Ar-rajul is ma'rifah. So ghulam will be translated as ma'rifah as well. You don't say
bisa baca.
a slave of the man. You must say the slave of the man. The slave of the man. Okay. The man ar-rajuli is the man. Right. But
Kira
ghulam you must say the slave. Why? Because the mudaf ilayhi is ma'rifah. So the mudaf will become ma'rifah as well. Okay. The word ghulam, slave, has become definite ma'rifah in these sentences. That's what it's saying.
dia nak
Do
kena
you understand? Ada tak faham tak?
faham kan?
Ryan tak faham eh? Faham? Okay. Next. Final bit there. Sikit je lagi, sikit lagi. In Arabic, because the mudaf precedes the mudaf ilayh and no word can interpose between them, okay, the adjective for the mudaf has to succeed the mudaf ilayh. Okay. So, what it's saying here, if you have an adjective, sifat sifat of ghulam. So for example, salih. See, salih is the sifat for ghulam. But you cannot say ghulam salih al-mar'ah. You cannot say that. Why? Because you can never have anything between the mudaf and the mudaf ilayh. Ghulam is mudaf, al-mar'ati is mudaf ilayh. See, translate that. Ghulamul mar'ati, the slave of the lady. You see? So you cannot have anything in between. Tak boleh ada apa-apa kat tengah ni. Antara mudaf ilaih. Tak boleh ya. Jadi, so the sifah of ghulam will come at the end. Sifat ghulam ni kena letak kat ujung juga. Tak boleh letak kat tengah-tengah ni. Kena letak kat ujung. Kena letak selepas habis mudaf ilaihnya. Kan? Mudaf ilaih baru boleh letak segala sifat-sifat. Nak cerita sifat-sifat baru letak lepas tu. Faham? So if you want to translate that, for example, cuba terjemah ni. First, translate this part first. Ghulamul mar'ati.
Bebas.
No, just this bit. Ghulamul mar'ati.
Slave of the lady.
The slave of the lady. Good. Now we want to put an adjective. Kena nak letak sifat bagi ghulam. Okay. Nak letak sifat bagi ghulam. Adjective for ghulam. So, we say ghulamul mar'ati as-salihu. See? As-salihu. As-salih is the adjective, the sifah for ghulam. And then when you translate also you say what? How do you translate? The,
The pious slave.
the pious slave. See, the pious slave. The this salih is an adjective sifah for slave, not for the lady. You don't say the slave of the pious lady. You say the pious slave of the lady. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, look at this salih. For example, remember the sifah. Remember before we said murakat tawsifi, they must be the same in four things. I'rab. Okay, look at the i'rab. Ghulamu. Ghulamu, you see? Ghulamu has a dhamma. You see that? Ghulamu. Ghulamu. So, the ghulamu. Okay. So, the sifah here will also have a dhamma. Ghulamul mar'ati as-salihu. You see that? As-salihu. The i'rab. Okay. And then in terms of ma'rifah nakirah. Ghulam is ma'rifah or nakirah here, ghulam? Rashad?
Yeah.
Ghulam, is it ma'rifah or nakirah? Ghulam.
Ma'rifah.
Why is it ma'rifah?
So, dia kat depan.
Because it's mudaf to a ma'rifah. That's what we say. Because it's mudaf to a ma'rifah. You see, al-mar'ati is ma'rifah. Mu'arraf billam. So the mudaf will also become ma'rifah. Okay. So if this is ma'rifah, then the sifat must also be ma'rifah. That's why you have as-salih. You see? Alif lam there. Alif lam as-salih. As-salih. Ghulam al-mar'ati as-salih. Okay? Understand?
Yes.
Okay. What else? They must be the same in terms of gender. Ghulam is mudhakkar or muannath?
Apa lagi?
Mudhakkar. Yes?
Betul.
So, the sifah must also be mudhakkar. Okay? Ghulamul mar'ati as-salihu. You don't say ghulamul mar'ati as-salihatu. Okay? Understand? And they must be the same in number. See that? Therefore, it is marfu'. Ghulamu as-salihu. You see? Must be both singular. They're both singular, right? They're both mudhakkar, masculine. Ghulamu as-salihu. You see? And they must both be definite lah. Since ghulam is ma'rifah, then as-salih will be ma'rifah. So, okay? Uh, so here are some more examples here. Okay, look at these next examples now. Waladur rajuli as-salihu. You see? Translate this first. Waladur rajuli. Try translate that first.
The father's son.
The son
Of the man.
of the man. You see? Waladur rajuli. The son of the man. Waladur rajuli. Now you want to put a sifah, adjective. Okay? You want to say the pious son. Okay? Adjective for the son. So we say waladur rajuli as-salihu. See? Waladur rajuli as-salihu. Why is it as-salihu? Because they must be the same in i'rab. You see, waladu. You see, waladu. So here also, as-salihu. Understand? That's murakkab tawsifi. That's what we've learned before. Waladu as-salihu. Also, because as-salih is the adjective of walad, the pious son. The pious son, not the pious man. The pious son of the man. You understand? Some more examples there. Okay, in this case, waladur rajuli as-salihi. See that? Waladur rajuli as-salihi. Okay, in this case, as-salih is the adjective, the sifat of rajul, of a rajul, you see? So, when you translate that, you said the son of the pious man. Okay, try and translate that first, okay? Ar-rajuli salih. Try and translate that.
The pious man.
The pious man, you see? Waladur rajuli salih.
The son of pious man.
The son of the pious man. Easy? Senang tak?
Yes.
Senang je kan? InsyaAllah. InsyaAllah. Say insyaAllah. Allah give us Allah beri kita faham. Ada soalan? Ada soalan? Tak dengar? Mana tadi?
Tak ada.
Tak ada. Okay, tak ada. Okay, next. Bintur rajuli as-salihatu. Okay, try translate first. Bintur rajuli. Bintur rajuli, translate that.
Daughter of the man.
The daughter of the man. Very good. Okay, so when we say you want to put the sifah adjective for the daughter, so you say bintur rajuli, you see, as-salihatu. You see, bintur rajuli as-salihatu. Why is it as-salihatu? Because as-salihah is the adjective, the sifah of bint. You see? Yeah. Okay? As-salihah, salihatu, this is the sifah for bint. Bint. So, you say bintu, yeah, we must say as-salihah tu. As-salihatu. Okay? Easy. Bintur rajuli as-salihatu. Okay. Understand that? Understand that, Rashad? Ryan? Okay. Very good. Okay, next bit. Bintul mar'ati. You see? As-salihati. See? Bintul mar'ati as-salihati. So as-salihati we'll know is the sifah of the mar'ah. Because it follows in i'rab. Al-mar'ati as-salihati. You see that? So you're talking about the pious woman, not the pious daughter. Okay? The daughter of the pious woman. Like that. Okay? Understand?
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay? More rules of idafah are discussed in lesson 11. Okay, later we learn a bit more about idafah. In lesson 11, we learn more about idafah. Okay. For now, that's the basics of idafah there. Easy, inshallah. Only two rules to remember. The first rule being the mudaf cannot have al, cannot have tanween. That's the first rule. The first rule, the mudaf, the first part cannot have al, cannot have tanween. And the second rule is that the mudaf ilayh must be majrur. Okay. Next. Go on. You read now. Baca. Sama-sama baca. Bismillah. Seorang-seorang.
Langit.
Yeah, okay. Next.
Kemudian
Obedience, ya. Qita'ah. Obedience. Okay, good. Next.
أعوذ
Good.
Allah. Listen, beware.
Listen, beware. Ala. Listen, beware. Ala. Huh?
What wisdom? Oh, wisdom. Hikmah. Wisdom.
Good.
Benefit.
What else?
Hamd.
Hamd.
Hamd. Price.
Hamd. Praise. Say it. Praise. Hamd. Okay. Next. Zahib. Zahib.
Going.
Uh,
Going.
okay, good. Next.
Rock. Stone. Hit.
Rocks. Rocks.
Rock.
The heads. Rocks. Kepala, eh? Okay, next. Yeah. Apa dia? Nampak antum berdua? Nampak?
Nampak?
Nampak antum berdua.
Mana? Oh ni.
Bertiga. Nampak bertiga sekarang. Okay, cepat. Rahman. Good.
Rahman.
Beneficent, okay. Rahim.
Rahim. Very merciful.
Rajim.
Wajib. Rejected one.
Hmm. Next. Zauj. Dah baca ni, zauj.
Zawj. Husband.
Ha. Hmm.
Husband. Husband. Husband.
Yeah. Next.
Zawjatun.
Zaujah.
Zawjah. Zawjah.
Zaujah. Ha. Zaujah,
Wife.
I think Mas knows what does Zaujah mean. Mas.
Zawj.
Zaujah. Wife. Zaujah. Okay, next.
Sakhin wasakhat. Sukh wasakhat.
Or sakhat. Say
Okay.
it. Sukht. Say it. Sakhat. Anger. 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 Marah. Murka. Okay. Sultan. What's the meaning of sultan? King. Okay. Sama. Sama. Sky. Okay, good. Next. Talab.
Talab.
Talab means to seek. Okay. Talabul ilmi, to seek knowledge. Tib. Next. Tib
Tib.
means fragrance.
Pregnant.
Fragrance.
Pregnant. Pregnant.
Okay, next.
Zillu.
Zil.
Zil.
Zil. What's the meaning of zil?
Shadow.
Shadow. Okay, next. Okay, what's next? Go on. Go on. Continue. Qadir. Baca.
Very powerful.
Kullun.
Every
Kullun. Kull.
cool. Every
Every, each. Kullun. Kullun. Every or each. Yeah? Kullu shay. Kullu shay. What does that
everything
mean? Everything.
to me.
Shay. Everything. Laham.
Lahm. Meat.
Mhm.
Meat.
Ma. Ma mawsula. Ma
Whatever.
mawsula. Meaning?
Whatever.
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 Uh, Makhafa. Fear. Good. Makhafa. Fear. Okay, next. Mir'ah. Mirror.
Mirror. Mirror.
Mirror. Mir'ah. Mirror.
Yes.
Next. Milh. Milh.
Milk.
Milh.
Milk.
Milh means salt or salty.
Sorry.
Masin. Tahu garam. Milih garam kan? garam. Nisyan.
Nisyan. To forget.
Next.
Wildan.
Walidan.
Walidan. Parent.
Next.
Ma'azun. Ma'is.
Ma'az.
Ma'is. Good.
Ma not Mu'az, Mu'az with a zal. Here with a zai. This is zai. There's difference with zal and zai here, okay? So Ma'az with a zai or Ma'iz means goat.
Good.
Mu'az with a zal, Mu'az is the name of Sahaba. Mu'az bin Jabal.
Aku angkat dia ke sini. Oh, angkat dia.
Okay, next. Afah.
If apa tu?
Afah.
Calamity.
Calamity, which means musibah. Same thing. Afah, musibah has the same meaning. Afah is musibah. Next. Nisyan again. Forgetfulness. Okay, good. Next. Adil.
Adil. Just.
Yes. Or fair. Adil lah, adil. Next.
Maslikun. Maslik.
Mashriq. Mashriq.
Maslik. Austar.
Okay, aywa. East. Timur, And next. Maghrib. Gharb. The west. West, barat.
West tu apa?
Barat.
Barat.
East, Timur, West. Okay. Now we learn about huruful jar. You already know this, Huruful jar. He's an expert on it, Huruf jar. Huruf jarrah. You read it together. Huruf jarrah. Huruf jarrah. Or you can say huruful jar. You can say that as well. Huruful jar. Huruful jar. Okay. What does that mean? Huruful jar. Huruful jar will make the ism after it become majrur. So for example, the first one, B.
B.
Okay. When you have ism after that, it becomes B rajulin, or if you have alif lam, bil qala mi. You see, it become majrur, kasrah. You see, B rajulin bil qalami. Easy. Alhamdulillah. Okay, continue. Read. Baca dari awal. B. Cepat. Baca je. B. B. With N.
With the pen.
With
The pen.
Baca semualah dari awal. B with N. B rajulin with the man. Bil qalami with the pen. Okay, read like that. Baca.
B. With in. Rajul. With a man.
Yeah.
With the pen.
Okay, next.
With by in a house. In the garden. Buston. In the garden.
Fil bustan. Okay, good. Next. Fil bustan. In the garden.
I like the barrel. On a mountain.
Ala, listen. Okay, never mind. Ala okay. Ala arch on the throne. Okay, never mind. Okay. Fine, continue, tak apa.
On the top.
Okay, go on. Next. Min.
Min. From. Min Zaidin. For Zaid. From Zaid.
Yep.
Minal Masjid. From
Minal mas.
Minal Masjid. From the Masjid. Ila.
Next.
To. Till. Ila Baladin. To a city. Ila Kufah. Till Kufah.
Ilal Kufa.
Ilal Kufah. Till Kufah. Li. For. To. Li Zaidin. For Zaid. Qultu li Zaidin. I say to Zaid. Ka. Like similar. Karajulin.
Lain.
Like a man. Kal Asadi.
Like a
To the lion. I'm from. An Zaidin. From Zaid.
good. That's it. Baru belajar sikit je.
Aku tak baca lagi tu. Alah.
Nak baca? Ryan nak baca pula kan? Cukup?
Belum salin lagi Ustaz.
Oh, nak salin. Tak apalah, nanti download. Saya bagi file ni. Download je. Download boleh salin. Okay. Boleh tak?
Sekejap. Ila.
Salin mana? Salin cepat.
Penatlah.
Mana rotan ni? Rotan. Okay. Nak rotan siapa? Ni. Dia dah lari dah. Ni ada adik-beradik, kawan-kawan kat sini.
Oh. Ustaz kat mana tu?
Saya kat Selangor.
Macam apa lama? Dah habis lagi tu.
Ya.
Bagi makanan.
Ha?
Lihat nasi yang post makanan yang kat pasar ni.
Okay, cepat.
Order grade.
Next.
Next.
Okay, dah boleh
Apa ni?
Next page boleh? Dah pukul apa dah ni?
Boleh.
What's the time?
Translate.
Oh,
The first name.
8 more minutes actually. Okay, so this is homework. Can you do the homework?
Ya.
Macam mana homework? Homework sebelum ni dah siap belum?
Dah.
Dah. Ada yang tak faham tak? Ada yang tak faham?
Dah.
Boleh faham kan? Okay.
Sudah.
Okay. So look at this now. This is homework. Okay, let's just look at some of them. Okay, let's look at number 6 for example. Number 6 there. Baitullahi. Okay, translate that.
Makkah.
The house.
The house of Allah. The house of Allah.
Very good. Very good. Alhamdulillah. Very good. Okay. Okay, so this homework will become harder and harder.
Gini.
Makin makin banyak kita belajar, makin susah lah homework dia uh,
Bagi lah aku ni. Tak, bagi.
Okay, look at this one for example. Number 34. Okay, ala, what does ala mean?
Alah.
Ala,
Alah.
beware, okay?
Alah.
Ala inna lillah ma fiyas samawati wa ma fil ard.
Betul.
Ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. Okay, so what does ala mean?
Alah.
Ala
Ingatlah.
Beware. Beware.
beware.
Okay. Inna.
Sesungguhnya.
In English, verily.
Verily.
You can say indeed.
Indeed.
Verily. Lillahi.
Allah.
Lillahi.
Inna.
Which Allah.
This Allah.
Two. For or two. Lillahi to Allah or for Allah. Li. Remember li? Li means for or to. Lillahi, for Allah or to Allah. Ma, what's ma just now? Ma mausulah?
Ma.
Not.
What
No.
Whatever.
What else?
Whatever.
Whatever, okay?
Whatever.
Where verily to Allah is whatever fis samawati. Fis samawati. In the skies or in the heavens.
In the skies. In the heaven.
Or in the heavens with the S, in the heavens. Wama fil ardi.
Wama. And whatever feel in earth.
And whatever is
In earth.
in the earth. On. Yeah,
On the
fi can be as on the earth. And whatever is on the earth. Okay. Understand, Boleh? Okay, let's try this one now. Okay.
God's milk.
Let's try that one. Number 4.
That's well.
Zaid's wealth. Or another way of saying it in English.
Right. What is flattering those things?
Zaid of wealth.
No, wealth of Zaid.
Well of Zaid.
The wealth of Zaid. You can translate as Zaid's wealth or the wealth of Zaid. Remember? The
Yes.
wealth of Zaid. Okay, translate that now. What's wealth in Arabic? Mal. Mal. Okay, try translate in Arabic now.
Where?
Where?
Okay.
Where?
Okay, the wealth of Zaid. Translate that into Arabic. Mal. Malu Zaidin. Understand? Malu
Malu Zaid.
Zaidin. Malu Zaidin. The wealth of Zaid.
Malam. Malu.
Okay, try this one. Try this one. Number 17.
Leader.
Translate that.
He is the son of the leader. Wa waladul waladul amri waladul amri
Wa waladu
amri
waladul. Eh? Waladul waladul amiri.
amri
Wa waladul
amri
amiri. Okay. Understand, eh? Waladul amiri. He is the son of the leader. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Tak dengar sangat lah. Khalifah. Boleh, boleh. Huwa waladul khalifati. Boleh? Ha. Huwa waladul khalifati. Remember the majrur, the mudaf ilaih must be majrur. Huwa waladul amiri. Or huwa waladul khalifati. Okay. Okay. That's it for now, yeah? Is that enough? Any more questions? Okay.
Balik.
Okay, if there are no more questions, inshallah we end there. And we'll continue. We continue inshallah after Zuhur.
Ustaz. Ustaz.
Inshallah.
Ustaz.
Yeah, yeah. Naam.
Akan post kan?
Ha?
Ustaz akan post food.
Tak dengar lah.
Because Ustaz
Ah. Next week, inshallah, next week, okay?
okay, bye Ustaz.
Okay, inshallah next week, okay? So, today, inshallah, we'll end for now. Continue later after Zuhur, okay?
Okay Ustaz.
Okay, jazakumullah khair. Terima kasih banyak. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.